In our last episode, we uncovered explosive revelations from Max Obae about Ezra Olubi, allegations of manipulation, abuse, and a pattern of disturbing behavior. Today, this story takes a new turn, as Paystack has announced that it has officially fired its co-founder. But as they say, what's on paper and what really went on may be very different. This is Blackish Gold Originals. Let's deep dive.
To understand the full picture, let's rewind to mid-November 2025. Paystack suspended its co-founder and CTO, Ezra Olubi, after serious allegations of sexual misconduct involving a junior employee surfaced. At the same time, a number of his tweets dating from 2009-2013 re-emerged online, posts Paystack describes as damning. These resurfaced messages reportedly included sexually explicit content about colleagues, minors, and even animals. In response, Paystack's board appointed Aluko Oyebode, a well-known external law firm, to carry out a formal independent investigation. By November 24, 2025, Paystack announced that it had terminated Olubi's employment. The company said the decision stemmed from significant negative reputational damage, citing the resurfaced tweets as the key factor. In its statement, Paystack emphasized that it acted within the terms of Olubi's contract and followed due process while paying out all financial entitlements. Importantly, Paystack stressed that his termination is separate from the ongoing investigation into the misconduct allegations. On his part, Olubi publicly rejected Paystack's account. In a blog post, he claimed he was only told of his firing on November 22, 2025, and denied being given a meeting, hearing, or chance to defend himself, actions he argues breached Paystack's own internal policies. He also said he stayed quiet during the investigation to avoid interfering, although his silence, he laments, created a vacuum that allowed misrepresentations to flourish across social media and within the public narrative. Regarding the tweets, he insists they do not reflect my conduct or the way I have lived my life. His legal team is now reviewing the termination process to determine if Paystack followed its internal protocols. This signals a potential legal challenge ahead, adding yet another layer to the rapidly evolving scandal.
So, what's really going on behind the scenes? Paystack's decision doesn't exist in a vacuum. When you step back and analyze the sequence of events, several possible layers emerge, each pointing to a much deeper corporate calculus. Reputational risk. Paystack isn't just another startup. It is one of Africa's most influential fintechs, operating under strict regulatory scrutiny in Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, and the UK. For a company handling payments across continents, public trust is everything. So when Ezra Olubi's old tweets resurfaced, alongside new sexual misconduct allegations, the issue went beyond social media outrage. It posed a real threat to compliance, international licensing, bank partnerships, and investor confidence. For a regulated fintech, reputational damage can quickly become operational risk. Contractual power. According to Paystack, Olubi's removal was based on a contractual clause that allows the board to act when a senior executive becomes a reputational liability. In essence, protect the company first. The termination, they say, was not a judgment of guilt, but a defensive move to contain escalating backlash that could destabilize operations. Separation of scandals. By distancing the firing from the ongoing misconduct investigation, Paystack appears to be guarding itself legally. This separation prevents determination from appearing as an admission of wrongdoing, while still allowing the external law firm, Aluko Oyebode, to proceed independently. Ecosystem signal. Across Nigeria's tech industry, the message is loud. Founders are no longer untouchable. Influence does not equal immunity. This case may redefine accountability standards across African tech. Did Paystack act too quickly? By firing Olubi before the independent investigation concluded, the company may have prioritized public perception over due process. Was this a strategic move to protect the brand or a premature judgment that could backfire legally? Is Olubi's legal pushback justified or simply an attempt to control the narrative? On one hand, he insists he never received a fair hearing. On the other, critics argue his response is more about preserving reputation than addressing the allegations. His challenge forces the tech ecosystem to examine whether founders deserve additional layers of protection or if the same rules should apply to everyone. And where does Max Obae's testimony fit into all of this? Her earlier revelations painted a troubling picture of manipulation, emotional abuse, and inappropriate power dynamics. Now that Olubi is no longer at Paystack, her story becomes part of a larger pattern. What kind of culture surrounded him? And were there warning signs long before the scandal broke? At its core, this is no longer just a scandal story. It's a conversation about leadership, ethical responsibility, and how powerful tech companies handle internal crises when reputations, money, and public trust are on the line.
As the dust settles on this latest wave of revelations, one thing is clear: this story is far from over. Ezra Olubi's suspension, firing, and public defense have opened a floodgate of questions about corporate responsibility, personal accountability, and the unseen power struggles inside Africa's most influential tech institutions. Max Obae's testimony adds yet another layer, forcing the public to confront the human cost behind the headlines. But the real truth, the complete truth, still lies somewhere between official statements, emotional testimonies, and evidence yet to surface. In the coming days, the investigation will move forward. Lawyers will respond, more witnesses may speak, and Paystack, once seen as a model of African innovation, will continue battling the biggest reputational crisis in its history. For now, all we can do is watch closely. Because if history has taught us anything, it's this: when power, money, and public trust collide, the full story never comes out at once. Thank you for watching. This has been Blackish Gold Originals. See you in the next video showing on the screen now.